So the other day, I got a package from JSP FAB, which is John Rusikoff, who used to drift in A86 and Formula D back in the day. It's his company, okay? So they make some pretty sweet stuff. Over the years, they've made awesome 4AG headers, and then they got into machining stuff. So a lot of beams parts John Rusikoff makes, and they're phenomenal. So I'm really excited about this one. One of the problems that I've had with the J160 transmission with the beams is that when I'm downshifting from third to second, sometimes I end up over in the reverse detent, all right? Because reverse on the beams is all the way over to the left. So if you're like if you're gonna go into first gear, right? And then there's a little detent there to pop over a little further into reverse and then forward. So what happens is when you're downshifting from third to second fast, you end up in the reverse detent and you can't go back into second because you gotta let it out of the detent and then go into second. So this is the JSP FAB reverse lockout shifter. So this is the shifter mechanism, okay, right? You've got, this is the actual reverse lockout, which bolts on right here. So I gotta adjust that once I get it in the car. To go into reverse, instead of being able to just push all the way over, there's a, you got to push it down, right? So you see that doesn't move that ball, but it's going to move that little lock lever down below the actual lockout piece. Now, this also is a shifter relocation kit. So on my car, or on the beams, there's actually two different shifter locations already on the transmission, or with the factory shift tower. And mine's in the forward position, so you can bolt it on here, bolt it on here. So that pushes it forward a couple inches, but you can see the factory shifter location is all the way up here, and I'm still several, quite a ways behind that. And this is like an eBay short throw shifter. So another thing I'm really excited about is that one has a short throw feature built into it. And you can see on the eBay ones or whatever, the China ones, they've got this roll pin that holds the two pieces together, so you get a little bit of flex in the shifter. So I'm really excited to get this in. I also got a JSP FAB or JSP shift knob with it, which is really exciting. I got red, so it matches the car. These are really nice quality pieces. So we're gonna get the shift relocation bits in, and then the short throw or the reverse lockout shifter in, and then we'll go take it for a test drive. All right, so first things first, I've got to unbolt the shifter. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. One of them apparently appears to have rattled loose. So we're gonna zing out the other 3 real quick. Set those down here. And we'll get the short throw shifter pulled out if I can manage it. Right. It likes to get caught in here. Okay. Man, that is really gross and greasy. So we're gonna go ahead and set that out here. You're gonna go right there. And this little wave spring down here. These are actually like really hard to replace apparently, or find replacements for, so hang on to these, because if you don't have the reverse lockout shifter, or if you're like me and you have 2 cars that you're building and only one of them has a reverse lockout, you need to keep these. And I don't know where the ones are from the hatchback over there, so hang on to that. Okay, next is going to be unbolting the shift tower, and what's going to be interesting is seeing if I can get it, get this out of the car. I think I can lift it up and out without dropping the transmission, because I need to get this out. Yeah. There are 2 bolts on top, 1, 2, and then there's 2 on each side. So I'm gonna get the 2 up top and then go underneath and unbolt the other 2 and then pull this out. Okay. It's kind of hard to see in here because it's light up and dark below, but this right here, that's that bolt. There's 1 on each side, and then we should be able to take the shift tower off. So I don't think I'm going to try and capture me taking that out, because it's a real tight space. Just know I'm removing that guy on each side of the transmission. Sometimes these pop right off, other times you have to get a pry bar, because there's little retainer rings in here. So roll pins, is that the word I'm looking for? I think so. We'll see. Oh, this one's, I've had this one on and off enough times that it's, yeah, there we go. It's a little loose. There we go. Now the question is, can I get it out without having to pull the transmission? Oh, come on. Well, another thing, I gotta remove the shift cup back here, this guy. So, I guess we'll pull that out. And maybe, just maybe, that'll give us enough room. Otherwise, we're cutting some stuff. Alright, I've been messing with that for like 20 minutes, and there's no way to pull it out without dropping the transmission, so I've got it kind of, I got it angled up and kind of held in place, and I'm just go ahead and chop those legs off. I don't need this anymore, so I'm not worried about chopping it off. I don't feel bad about it. But if, I don't know, some people might not want to chop up a piece like this, but for an 8.6, it's a useless piece. It's not a normal piece that breaks, so there's probably abundance of these now that people are doing beam swaps. So if you're an Altezza dude or IF300 dude and you want to do a beam swap or something, this is missing for some reason, ask the 8.6 people, I guess. Okay, now we're on to the shifter relocation install. So there are two different spaces here that bolt to the transmission. This one says Zenki, this one says Kuki. There are two different transmissions. The difference is the shift tower and like obviously the sizing of the transmission where the shift tower bolts on. One of them is aluminum, the other one is steel. So the thicker ones are Zenki, that's for the aluminum spacers, and then the Kuki ones that have the steel standoff, those are the thinner ones. So I've got the aluminum shift tower, so that means I need the thicker ones. So these guys, they go right in here, like that, and like that. We'll bolt them down, then we put the other shifty bits here, and yeah, let's get to it. Pretty much all the hardware for the JSP kit is Allen head. So we've got those. I'm gonna come in here. I already bolted the first bit down to the transmission, to the output shaft, or to the shift fork right there, or shift, whatever that is. I've got that bolted on. Now, I get this guy set up in here and bolt it down. There are a couple of different, there are some adjustments for shift location. I'm going to put it all the way up here. That's what I'm going to do. All the way forward, I think. So we're going to bolt that on. Yeah. These bolts are like special countersunk machines. They fit absolutely perfectly for this. One on there. And get the other one on here. Okay, so that feels pretty good. I might have to adjust the shift position a little bit. The roll pin is supposed to do that, right? The roll pin centers it, but because I don't have the roll pin, I have to manually adjust this to center it. So I'll get that all the way over there. Yeah. The next bit, the reverse lockout shifter. So this has two positions. You know, so you can bolt it here up front, or you can bolt it a little bit further back. You know what? I think that because of how I have my handbrake set up, I'm going to shift mine to the rear position. Okay, now what I need is, oop, this. Okay, so we got short and long bolts. The long bolts obviously bolt the shifter down, and then the shorter bolts bolt the other bits down. The long bolts, for me, the long bolts bolt through either this bolt hole or this one, the back one or the front one, because that's what holds the shifter to the plate to the transmission. So let's see if I can get this to sit nicely in here. The secret is getting it lined up just perfect, and it slides right in. So let's see, is this the same size? It is. Okay, so long bolt. Make sure all my bolts are snug. All right, next bit is getting the shifter in. Oh no, I need a different size Allen. Okay, so to attach the shifter, the shift arm is actually a nice adjustable piece here. It's a pinch clamp. You got 2 Allens in there, so we're gonna go ahead and get this in. It's nice because like you can adjust how tall or short you want the shifter to an extent. You've got some amount of adjustment there, and then you've also got shift position adjustment. I'm gonna leave it pretty much straight back, and then we're gonna go ahead and snug these down. That's pretty straight. All right. Now, we're gonna toss the shift knob on there. I love this shift knob because it's got this adjustment to it. So you got the threaded sleeve that goes onto the shifter, and then you've also got this lock nut essentially on top. It's not really a nut, it's a threaded insert into the threaded insert. So that way you can get it set up exactly how you want with the logo in the right spot. And yeah, so we're gonna thread this all the way down. I want it right about there, which means I need to now get, oh, is it gonna be this size? It is, perfect. Now I thread that down. Oop, I'm not perfect on where I want it to be, right there. Yeah. Okay. Then I'm gonna put the shift knob on. So I'm getting that put on so that way I can feel, oh wow. That feels awesome. This is so much better. So much better than that eBay one already. I can already tell. Okay, now we got to get the actual reverse lockout bit on, which is, oh, it's right here. So he sends you with an actual tool for this too. So we're going to go ahead and get this bolted on. It bolts onto the side over here. So you got a bevel cut in it. That's going to fit with the notch right here. And then you've got your 2 little Allen nuts. So we'll set this on there. It's got some adjustment in and out to make sure it's going to work perfect for you. So yeah. So this is a Torx bit, or a Torx tool that you can use for rebuilding stuff. But it's for servicing this bit right here. That's what it's for. So this is for servicing the internals. It's not for actually the reverse lockout. That's just an Allen. So probably like a 2.5. Ah, my eyeballs were off. It's a 3 millimeter. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I am just loosely tightening these. I'm not tightening them all the way. I need to leave some room to adjust it. So what I'm going to do here to adjust the right position of that, I'm going to push this all the way over to the left before I hit the reverse detent. Then I'm going to push this all the way against it, and then, oh cool, okay, so we're going to push it all the way over to the left so it pushes out where it's at. All right, and then we're going to tighten these down. So that way it locks it perfectly at your reverse, or right before your reverse detent. Now we got that, we're going to tighten them down. Not too tight because they are threaded into aluminum, so you don't want to pull threads out. But okay, so I can no longer go into reverse unless I push down. See that? That's the reverse lockout. All right, that's how it works on this. Down, over. Oh, that's so nice. Now I'm gonna put the car back together so we can go for a test drive. We're gonna go ahead and put a JSP sticker on the car. Right there in the corner, I think looks good. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll put it right down there. Okay. Toss this guy right into the corner. There we go. Yeah, JSP FAB. I'm gonna go putt around and see if I can get used to the shifter. I think the throw might be a little bit longer than the eBay short throw shifter. Not by much, but it might be a little bit longer. And you know, even though it might be a little bit longer, the shift quality is so much better. Like, it's super notchy now. It's super smooth to go into gear, like, and it's really crisp. The crisp shift is really, really nice. I guess one of the things with the stock style shifter, even if with the short throw, is those wave springs in there, they soak up some of the crispness of the shift. Whereas this is a straight mechanical connection. There's no springs in there, there's none of that. So the shift feels really, really nice. So here we've got the shopping mall. We're gonna go around and just kind of feel out the shifts. Man, first gear feels really nice too. Putting the car in first gear feels great. That one always feels a little funny, I feel like. It feels a little like, I don't know, it's not as crisp of a shift. I'm gonna go pull into a parking spot. Here we go. All right. I'm parked. Okay, time to go home. Feels nice. Let's go home now. I ran it through all the gears. Maybe we'll do a short acceleration here and see what it feels like getting on the main road and run it through a couple of gears real quick. I will say it's going to take some getting used to having the shifter up here instead of back here. But having the slant in it is really nice. Alright, so we're going to do a little acceleration on this road and run through a couple of gears real quick, just so we can feel what it's like to shift, 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 and then maybe we'll try a downshift from third to second. Okay, so running through the gears, it feels great. Nothing really out of the ordinary. It's just a good feeling shifter. We got a red light up here, perfect, so we gotta slow down. Feels great not having that, not having to worry about that reverse detent. That's awesome. Absolutely fantastic. All right, back to the garage. So, what do I think now that I've driven with it a bit? The throws are definitely shorter than stock. Probably comparable. I was thinking I might have longer a little bit than the cheap short throw shifter, but I think it's about on par. So the shifts feel great. That's another thing too, is the shifts are nice and crisp. So that, like I was trying to say, the wave springs that are in there and the play in the shifter itself, because the roll pin through the middle, all that stuff. This is all 100% mechanical connected, so it eliminates all of that, so the shifts feel nice and crisp. The reverse lockout is obviously the best feature. Fantastic. So I will say that the only thing that I'm concerned about is that if I really slam it over into reverse, am I going to move the reverse lockout bump, whatever you want to call that, the actual piece that locks it out. Maybe. I don't really know yet. You know, I didn't tighten it super well, so when I was sitting there in the parking lot, I actually ended up getting it to shift a little bit. And so then I was like, oh, okay. Then I came back and I tightened it up, I went for another drive, and it feels better. So, you know, you just got to make sure you're torquing those bolts properly. But, I mean, other than that, like honestly, it's super great. It looks fantastic. I mean, it's a work of art for sure. And, like, I feel bad putting a shift boot over it. I like that it puts the shifter in the correct location for, you know, an AE86. It puts it right there in the factory shifter location, or you can scoot it back a little bit. So for me, my driver positioning is scooted a little back, so it's nice being able to put it back a little further, and having a little bend up top is really nice too in the shift lever, whatever the shift knob goes on to. That's nice too, because I feel like it really positions the shifter well. Yeah, honestly, 100%. I would definitely recommend buying this if you're doing a beam swap. Sure, it's a little bit extra money, but it prevents you from chopping up, you know, the transom of your car like I did. And it really, you know, the being able to downshift from third to second without worrying about slamming it over in the reverse detent that's really what I needed. I actually lost a competition battle about a year or two ago. Actually, two of them I lost because the reverse detent got me messed up. So I'm glad that I have this now. I don't have to worry about shifting carefully. And yeah, next week, November 20th. So yeah, next week I'm gonna is the next last drift event of the season. I'm gonna really, you know, test it out, run it through the gears, slam it in, you know, and see how well it holds up. So you know, keep an eye out for that next video, because I'll put one out from that event. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share all that stuff. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you following. I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate everything. So